God? Do we need to believe in God because it's useful? Or do we absolutely need to believe in God? Yeah, am I making the difference clear?
That question always stops me.
Take your time.
You need to aim at a transcendent. You need to aim at some transcendent ethic. You have to do that. And the reason for that is that the transcendent ethic is the way that things are put right. It's not an illusion, and it's not a mere rational construct. It's not an invention. It's none of those things. It's something that you discover, and you discover it despite yourself. Like, see, one of the things Nietzsche proposed when he talked about the death of God and the potential for catastrophe that would emerge as a consequence of that was that people would have to create their own values. We'd have to replace the external valuation scheme that religion provided with something that was psychological, let's say. It's fine. It's a daring hypothesis. The psychoanalysts, especially Jung, were great students of Nietzsche. And Jung knew why Nietzsche was wrong because of what he learned from Freud. What Jung learned from Freud was that we weren't masters in our own house, that we're beholden to psychological phenomena that are beyond our voluntary control. We have a nature, and that expresses itself within us in ways that we cannot control rationally. It manifests itself as part of reality. It's phenomenological reality, it's subjective reality, but it's reality nonetheless, like the reality of a dream. You don't invent your dreams like in a voluntary sense. They manifest themselves in the field of your imagination.
But Freud was painfully secular. Freud thought God was a childish disease.
Yes, he did. He thought that religion was a grand wish fulfillment, but it's a very shallow criticism, and he should have known better, and that's why Jung and Freud broke.
I guess that would be one of your most complicated messages, is that your evil side should not be divorced, but rather harnessed for good.
Yes.
So that
because it's not so evil.
That blurs the difference between good and evil, in a sense.
No, it just makes it more complicated. It's like you can't identify evil with something simple. Oh, aggression is evil. It's like, no, it's not. Fear is evil. No, it's not. Neither is pain. It's not that simple. Whatever evil is very complicated. And to attribute it to society, for example, or to attribute it to a particular psychological trait, it's not anywhere near sophisticated enough to come to terms with the problem. So evil is something that's, resentment is closer to something that's at the core, but even that's not sufficiently complicated. And evil is much better construed as a complex personality, which is why that is how it's construed. There's great figures of evil. Satan is the ultimate figure of evil. Well, why? Because in order to flesh out the concept, you need a character and a personality and a story. You can't reduce it to a set of descriptions, partly because it moves. It's like, well, sometimes aggression is evil. Well, yeah, that's true. Sometimes it's not. That's why the personality is a better representative of these sorts of concepts, because a personality is something that's got a certain amount of coherence and identity, but it's also something that's adaptive and flexible in different situations. So, and these things are, to think of evil as a personality and to think of good as a personality is much more appropriate than to think of them as tables of rules or something like that, or descriptions.
Or instincts.
Yeah, definitely not instincts. It's like you just can't damn an instinct. You know, it's not helpful. And there's aggression. It's like, what, you're going to get rid of aggression? It's like, what, you don't like ambition? You don't like purpose? You don't like persistence?